Look, let's get through this. I don't have much time. I've got to be somewhere. But look, about 3 or 4 years ago, I decided I wanted to change careers. Well, I was retired, so the career I wanted was as a stand-up comedian. Now, I know you're going to say that's kind of weird for a man who's so long in the tooth. I'm 80 years old, but I'm going to give this only about 10 years, and then I'm going to quit, try something else. There has to be limits, you know what I mean? You have to be professional. So about 3 or 4 years ago, I started performing and trying to find an audience. Well, I find it at the Senior Citizen Center in our town. It's the perfect place. There's a whole bunch of them in the area. So this is an audience that knows me and can talk about things that I talk about and vice versa. So I do notice a problem. As time continues, my audience is disappearing. The people I expect to see to build up my following have disappeared over time. The Grim Reapers out there, taking away my people. Then along comes the pandemic. Between the pandemic and the natural death rate, my audience is gone. So here I am in the basement of our house trying to find a live audience. That's really what I'm desperate to do. So let me at least review my success. The audiences I had were really generous. I mean, senior citizens make a good audience. They like to laugh. They don't like to laugh at death, so you don't tell jokes about that. No one begins a joke by saying, "This will kill you." Nobody in the back of the stage says, "Get out there and knock them dead." We don't do that. So we do talk about the most popular topic for every senior citizen, and that is surgery, operations, medical treatment. By the time you're in our age category, you've been worked over by virtually every kind of physician there is, and almost every organ in your body has been either reorganized or cut out or whatever. So let me tell you about my operation. I had half my colon removed, yes. I know it's kind of personal. Yeah, I know, you can snicker. You're going to ask me what it's like living with a semicolon. Well, I'm going to tell you, it's all right as long as everything comes out in the end. Let's put that to sleep, okay? Get it behind us. Now, the other topic I wanted to cover was what happened in that hometown when I grew up. Had a brother, an older brother. Tim was a midget. Yes, well, they call them little people now. But he turned out to be the genius of the family. Very successful, a small businessman, you might say, and a pretty good miniature golfer, too. Married a woman from Micronesia. Settled down, ran a chain of mini-marts. Yeah, I know his life was cut short a short time ago. Choked to death with a short rib. But hey, life is short. You have to keep that in mind. Back to myself. Went to high school, worked all the time to support the family. Favorite job? Bakery. Worked at it for about 3 months. Got a yeast infection. That can be a problem. But I stayed at it because the family needed the money. And besides, I was a role model for the other employees. And I needed the dough, to be honest with you. So then I went to college. Got a PhD. Would you believe it, a PhD? Taught at a major university. Taught medieval studies. Yes, sir. Why would anyone choose medieval history to be their specialty? I don't really know how I arrived at that. But it did come out valuable later. But in the fight with the dean for salary, I finally decided the study of the Middle Ages, it's futile. You just got to get away from it. There's no future. So I went to Hollywood naturally and tried to become, a movie star. I got some work as an actor for a while, not much. Some disappointing roles. I guess the most disappointing, audition for a dead man. Yeah, I was supposed to be in the morgue lying there. Didn't get it. Now, there's a message there. If you can't show something when you're dead, what are you going to show? When you're in front of the screen. Not much. But I did do a commercial, hemorrhoid preparation. Of course, butt of jokes, the butt of many jokes. But that's all behind me now. I was also referred to by my friends as famous Amos. Let's leave it at that. That's behind me. So then, what happened? Well, I guess you're finished in Hollywood when you get your picture back from the dry cleaner you gave it to. They often have a celebrity's picture up there with a signature trying to get work from people who come in. So-and-so, he gets his dry cleaning here. I put my picture up at the guy's place and he gave it back within about a month, said it wasn't doing anything for his business. So I knew my performance as an actor was coming to an end. It was it was going to be over. But I did have one success. It was a script I wrote. I did some script writing. Most of them got returned right away. This happened to be for a porno film. That's true, an adult movie. I know you're going to snicker, but it turned out to be very successful. And I used my knowledge of the Middle Ages to kind of make it a film that was a little better than it was originally designed. Maybe you've seen the movie. It was very famous back then. It was called Deep Moat. Yeah, that's what it was, Deep Moat. It was about a man who used his lance a lot. Maybe some of you have seen it, maybe not. But that was my big success. Then finally, the work ended, and I ended up, doing the things actors do or former actors do to get by. Sold not real estate, I sold mortgages. As a matter of fact, I tried to find a niche where I could sell reverse mortgages to dyslexic people. That didn't work out. I ended up being sued by people you name them, Bob, Anna, Nan, Otto. The list of people who sued me is endless. So I did have one stroke of luck. Not a stroke, just a stroke of luck. I met the one of my dreams on one of these websites, on the computer. This was a software, internet, what do you call them, an internet website called Grumble. It's for older men who have a hard time adjusting to later years, and they need a woman, who can help them settle in. It worked out for me. Found a gem of a woman, kind of old-fashioned. We still like going out dancing cheek to cheek. Well, of course, I prefer it when we face each other, but that's her choice. She's the woman. And she's smart, let me tell you. We got to talking about, the kind of things in a relationship. Eventually, you always get to how many people did you know before me, that kind of stuff. I gave her the standard male answer, which was, honey, I never paid for sex. Her response was kind of unexpected. She said, that's why your credit rating is so bad, Jerry. Now, she could be brutally honest like that. But we still have a lot of fun together. We moved back to the small town I lived in. They have they have 3 motels there. A Motel 3, a Motel 6, and a Motel 9. Can you believe it? That's what they used to charge for a room at these places. Well, I know it's all different now. The prices are much higher. They've even upgraded. We stayed at the Motel 9. Guy tried to fix everything. He unbuckled the remote. It used to be on an end table. You couldn't take the remote with you. They didn't trust you back then. Also, the big change, he put a robe in the room, a big white fluffy robe. You never see that kind of thing except maybe at a Hyatt or a ritzy motel or ritzy hotel. The problem is he made the right gesture, but the robe, it's on a chain. So you can't really leave the room. You get to about, right around the door and starts tugging. But it is a touch of class, and I think he's to be admired, at least for making that move. Now, really, we have to be going here any minute. We're going to a funeral. I thought maybe I mentioned that. Good friend of ours. That's what you spend half your time doing when you're older. He passed away. Well, he didn't pass away. He drowned. He was scuba diving. Told him, don't do that stuff. It's dangerous. Well, there he goes. He thinks he knows what he's doing. He breaks the 2 rules that scuba divers are never supposed to break. Number 1, carry a knife. Of course. If you get caught in seaweed, you've got to have a knife. Rule number 2, when you're caught in seaweed, you're supposed to yell, kelp. Some people nearby thought they heard that word, but they weren't sure, so they didn't respond. It sounded like, well, they said it sounded like help, so they didn't respond. So he got to go to his funeral. I should tell you, too, it's late now. It's dark out. I had an accident last night. I don't even know whether to talk about this. I was driving along the road. It's very dark in this town. The lights, they don't have many street lights. And I heard this thud against the side of the car. I didn't check until this morning. I was afraid to look and see what the hell had happened. Sure enough, there's a twisted can of spray paint stuck in the wheel well of the car. So you know what happened there. I came to the realization I killed a teenager who was just learning to write. It's just an awful feeling. It took me almost an hour to get over. Well, anyway, we don't have time. I have to go. Thanks for watching.